Welcome back to the Gavel. Our first report today looked at the state policing system, which is one of the proposed constitution amendments before the National Assembly. On the breakdown, the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center looks at more bills before the National Assembly Constitution Amendment Committees. Here's Amarachi Onyeabo, Program Officer for Plac, with the breakdown.
The National Assembly began its process of constitution review from the beginning of 2024 when the Senate and House of Representatives constituted their respective constitution review committees. Several bills have since come before both houses of the National Assembly, and we're going to be discussing some key bills that are before the Senate and the House of Representatives. The first one is the Parliamentary System of Government, a bill proposing that Nigeria moves from federalism to the parliamentary system of government. Now, the reason that has been canvassed is the cost of governance and the need to streamline institutions of government. However, if this proposal is to pass, it would also mean amending several provisions of the Constitution, because the Constitution has been drafted premised on a federal system of government. Now, it's essential for us as a people to ask ourselves if the main problem is the system of government or the people who make up the system and the administration of this federal system of government. Another bill is on election adjudication. It has been argued that election adjudication takes a long time. Some people have even proposed that election petitions, especially for presidential elections, should be concluded before swearing in a new president, in order to avoid the distraction that election litigation brings for a newly elected president. The legislative election petitions are usually heard by tribunals, and they have a right of appeal to the Court of Appeal. For the presidential election petition, it begins at the Court of Appeal with a right of appeal to the Supreme Court. However, for governorship elections, this is different. Because they start at the tribunal, they can go on to the Court of Appeal and even up until the Supreme Court. Now, it has not always been like this. It used to end at the Court of Appeal. However, it has been extended to the Supreme Court. Now, some elements of these petitions comprise issues of qualification of candidates and political party primaries. Even though a good number of these issues are categorized as pre-election matters, we have seen pre-election matters go all the way to the Supreme Court, with similar issues pronounced by election tribunals or appellate courts as pre-election matters which are outside of their jurisdiction. We have also seen a general reluctance of the courts to dabble into the affairs of political parties in election petitions. Perhaps if political parties take great care to ensure fairness and transparency in their internal affairs and their primary elections, some of these cases will be significantly reduced. Now, for election adjudication, there are several bills. There is one to reduce the time for tribunals to hear petitions from 180 days to 120 days. There is another bill to expedite presidential election petition, with the Supreme Court having original jurisdiction to hear this matter and delivering its judgment within 65 days. Also, there is a bill to bestow original jurisdiction of governorship election petitions on the Court of Appeal with a right of appeal to the Supreme Court. And there is a bill to take away the powers of an election petition tribunal to declare a winner of an election where it invalidates the same election. The bill proposes instead for the tribunal to make an order for the conduct of a by-election. Moving on to other bills, there is a bill for devolution of powers to bring shipping and navigation from the exclusive legislative list to the concurrent legislative list, which would mean that states can make laws over matters relating to shipping and navigation. Now, devolution of powers is usually a way for states to gain more resource control. In the last constitution review exercise in the 9th National Assembly, there were bills to move electricity, railways, and custodial centers to the concurrent legislative list, and these passed. Now it is up to the states to take advantage of these alterations to the Constitution to enrich their own resources. Another bill is on referendum. It has been argued by, or it has been proposed by secessionist agitators for Nigeria to hold a referendum. Now, there are other matters that may call for a referendum generally. Before the National Assembly, there is a bill for proposing that any proposal for constitution alteration or any decision on a matter of national or state level importance should be approved by a simple majority of eligible voters in a referendum conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.